Hi there, Becky here from 168 Fitness. This week I am switching my focus to those of you who are runners and those that have a spring 2019 race goal, perhaps a marathon or a half marathon, maybe even a 10k. Whatever your goal is, you hopefully will be doing some kind of exercise at the moment which will have inspired you to enter those races, or at least think about them. But if you haven't started, then it doesn't mean you can't do any of those. Marathon might be a bit of a challenge, but you could still start training between now and the new year and still be able to take part in any of those races that I talked about. If you are currently training, then there's still some sort of pre-marathon or pre-half marathon training that you need to do in order to start the proper training in 2019 at the start of the year. So that's what I want to talk about today. So let's start. For example, if you have entered a marathon, I'm doing London Marathon next year. I've got a couple of clients doing London as well, and then I've got a couple of clients doing Manchester Marathon. Both of those marathons are in April. So if you are looking to do a spring marathon, then my recommendation is always to try and have got up to half marathon distance before the end of this year. So I've been talking to clients over the past few weeks and sort of gradually building up their longer runs. So if they were running sort of 8 or 9 miles to start off with, then they're now sort of looking to run 10 miles as a long run this week, 11 miles next week, 12 miles the week after, or could potentially get that half marathon in before the end of the year. If it doesn't quite work out, but like come first week of January you are able to run that half marathon, then that's fine, as long as you aren't just running sort of shorter runs, 3-4 miles at a time, because it's a bit too much of a jump to go from 3 or 4 miles to sort of 10 miles and half marathon and things like that in the new year. So you're just trying to building up your mileage, total mileage for the week over the next few weeks. Not jumping too much, but just getting that base, those base miles in that base training, so that then when you start adding some higher intensity and better quality training to it, that your legs are already sort of used to a bit more volume as well. So if you're aiming for a marathon in the spring, then my advice would be to get up to half marathon distance before the end of this year, or sort of around New Year, first week of January, so that you are ready to go with the marathon plan in January. Okay, if you are running a half marathon or intend to run a half marathon in the spring, then it's basically about half the distance, similar to with the marathon. If you can be doing 10k on a weekly basis, or at least have got up to running 10k at least once between now and the end of the year, then that will set you you'll be prepared for the New Year training plan, where you're doing some longer runs and hopefully running more consistently, and yeah, just getting your body ready really for that half marathon plan. If you're aiming to do a 10k in the springtime, then just hopefully you're running now already. If you're not, then just try and get back to running sort of 2 to 3 times a week. You don't need to worry too much about distance, because you've got plenty of time to build up that distance, but the main advice would be to be running consistently, which is the same for if you're training for half marathons and a marathon as well in the spring, to be running consistently and try and keep that mileage consistent as well over the next few weeks. So for example, if you are currently running sort of 10 to 15 miles a week, then just make sure that you're running consistently 10 to 15 miles over the Christmas period. Or if you're running a bit more, if you're running sort of 30 miles a week at the moment, then just make sure that you're consistent with that going into the new year, because you don't want it to be too much of a shock when you start the actual training plan in the new year. Having said that, I intend to take a week off myself between Christmas and New Year, a full week off from running, just to give my body, I feel like I haven't had a break that much recently, so just give my body a little bit of a rest ahead of the marathon training plan in the new year. So if you do think that's what your body needs and that's what you're feeling like, then that's absolutely fine as well. But I will have made sure, because I'm training for a marathon, I will have made sure that I've hit that 13-mile mark before I take that week off, so that then body has time to recover and then can start afresh that either first or second week of January, ready to go for marathon training. So that's what I wanted to talk about this week. If you've got any questions or you want to discuss any training plans or any race ideas that you've had, please do get in touch. Happy to help. As I said, my background's marathon training, so I can give you advice on what to do. Check you're doing the right thing as well. So please do get in touch if you need any help, and if not, then I will speak to you next week with some more top tips.